In a grungy, hardened dystopian future, cyberpunk future SWAT fight to defeat future terrorists rising up against the megacorps. A bomb has been planted, and Judge Dredd and his band of battle-hardened killers are the only ones that can defuse it. But to defuse the bomb, you've got to get to it. Through rooms filled with lava, vent systems, security doors, D-Day landings, it's hell out here. And you only have a limited amount of weapons and ammo to protect you. And let's not forget who you're fighting. Neon Viper. A mercenary with a synthetic moustache and a past full of regrets. And not to mention his band of future brothers, complete with an arsenal of devastating tools to crush any dirty cop that stands in their way. Welcome to Due Process. Oh, he's taking serious fire, suppressing fire. Oh. Covering fire. Clear the beach.
Oh, Slorg, that was nice.
Oh, nice. Due Process is a tactical shooter, stated by the devs themselves to be a love letter to classic tactical shooters of the past, like SWAT and the Rainbow Six series. And I'd never even bloody heard of it until a few days ago. They've just dropped a big update that has brought the game back from the dead, and I'm so glad they did. And when I tell you that this game is sensational, I mean it. Don't let the 8-bit graphic style and creative visuals fool you. This is an actual tactical shooter to its core. Not just a game that calls itself a tactical shooter, like literally every shooter ever. Sidebar, Delta Force calls itself a tactical shooter. Come on guys, let's rein it in. This is a legit tactical shooter with so much depth and room for tactics, teamwork and communication, as well as some insane replayability. It also fixes the Rainbow Six Siege problem, which personally scares me off from that game, and introduces some revolutionary mechanics I personally have never seen in a video game like this before. And to top it all off, it's literally sub $1 right now, and they're practically giving it away. There's a lot to unpack, and if you're not excited, you should be. I'm kicking it. There's a guy right there, he killed me instantly. You begin your Due Process journey with a slow zoom out to reveal a futuristic dystopian New York. As the soundtrack kicks in, you realize you're playing a game with some class, with soul and artistry, not the usual FPS slop you've come to expect from the modern games industry. A quick perusing of the customization options should confirm to you that this game has style and has been created by a bunch of people with an actual vision. And the vision isn't simply generating more money for shareholders. You can effortlessly join a lobby with your friends, and then matchmaking actually works. And in a shocking turn of events, you go from the main menu to the loading lobby and nothing crashes. I didn't even need to use the Steam invite function. Babe, wake up, we've got an actual game here. Let's take a look at this lobby. You might notice something. Human centipede, quick. It's incredible. Oh, I'm shaking with anger. Look at me.
He's AFK, guys, he's AFK.
No.
Look, hey, you, he's AFK.
Hey, he's AFK.
Oh God,
He's
what are we
AFK.
gonna do? Sir, what are we gonna do? He's AFK.
He's AFK.
Oh God. No!
Oh, did I mention that you can change your team name to literally whatever you want? It's My Kittens versus Big Venus. The matchup of the century. Once you make it past the greatest loading lobby ever envisioned by man, you're faced with this, an interactive round planning map. Now, obviously, the first order of business is to draw a penis on the ground. And this is a particularly satisfying penis, and it actually appears on the ground in-game. A feature that a few comment leavers on my hit video about lines were eager to share with me, and rightfully so. Now, of course, an interactive planning map is hardly revolutionary in gaming, but an interactive planning map that's actually useful is something I haven't seen in a long time. And I'll explain why, after I talk about the maps. And when you push through the beach, you have to go through the jungle. And when you make it through the jungle, you gotta fight through the castle. And when you make it through the castle, You gotta survive the pit. In this game, you play 3 rounds as defenders and 3 as attackers. There are a total of 3 maps per game, making a maximum of 2 rounds on each map, playing either side. You can see the maps you're going to play before reaching the planning section. Here, we're looking at Factory, Dome, and Bank. But here's the thing. So you may have heard that one of this game's key hooks is that the game makes procedurally generated maps, so you rarely play the same map twice. Now I'll be honest, this doesn't offer up quite as much randomness as you'd expect, and that's because the overarching map structures remain intact. It's the nuance of the layouts that change. For example, Bank. We'd played versions of this map a number of times. Here are 3 of those versions, side by side. As you can see, the layouts are different, but the core of the Bank map remains the same. You still, as an attacker, need to fight your way to this button to open the vault, and then you need to defuse the bomb in the vault room.
I'm doing it.
There seems to
always be some kind of security room with activatable doors. There's usually a lobby, a server room. It always resembles a bank.
So while this might not be quite as procedurally generated as some might hope, this does, at least in my opinion, fix the Rainbow Six Siege problem. Have you played Siege recently? If you have, you'll know it's really hard. But it's not just hard because everyone's better at shooting than you, or has better characters or whatever. The most painful part of that game is that everyone except you knows every inch of every single map. And knowing the maps is the difference between enjoying the game and suffering immensely. As the core of that game is knowing attack routes, knowing specific angles, knowing which walls to breach, which walls to reinforce. And at this point, the barrier to entry is so high, with so much map knowledge required just to play the game at a basic level, that it's almost impossible to break into. Due Process does not have this problem, as knowing angles is pretty much impossible, as the angles always change. There is some map knowledge to be had, but the advantages are far less punishing for people without the knowledge compared to Siege. And this allows Due Process to offer a much more tactics-focused experience where you can actually be rewarded for creating unique plans for the unique map you've been served up.
Nice.
And that is something I don't think I've seen in a video game in a long time, and it's incredibly refreshing. So let's get back to the map. Sure, at the beginning, it's a thing you f around with and have a laugh drawing penises. But once you start understanding the game, the planning map genuinely becomes a place where you draw out a detailed plan which can include who is taking which weapons, where each person will throw smokes, flashbangs, who's blowing up which door, which path is everyone walking. You can get really detailed with this, and the fact that your map markings remain on the ground in 3D space, and you can access and interact with this map at any time, even if you're dead, makes for a honest-to-God, legit, tactical first-person shooter experience. Again, something I have not seen in a long time, and frankly, haven't realized until now is exactly what I've been missing from my life.
Nice call.
But the cool features don't stop there. Once you've made your plan, you've got to pick your loadout. On the wall in front of you is a selection of weapons, equipment, and ammo. It's the standard smorgasbord of shotguns, assault rifles, sniper rifles, you know, the stuff you've come to expect from a first-person shooter. But here's the twist. This stuff does not respawn. There is no economy system. The weapons and ammo lost or expended on the battlefield in a round are lost. This adds a level of tactical immersion to the game that, frankly, every other game like this should be taking notes on. But to understand this, you need to understand breaching. Getting into the map as an attacker requires access to doors. Different doors require different tools to get through, and these are represented on the map with handy tooltips. Long story short, some doors require nothing, other doors may need anything from a firm kick to actual explosives. As an attacker, in the base you get 2 explosive charges and 1 large breaching charge. That takes 2 hands to carry. Once these are lost, for example if you were to take all of them onto the map round 1, as we did once, and all die, you now have absolutely no means of breaching locked doors for the remainder of the game.
Why did we use all of our explosives on the first round?
We're bad at the game. And this adds a huge level of tactical depth to Due Process, as the value of all your weapons and equipment, especially the more scarcely available ones, increases immensely. And you start having to make decisions about which maps work best with which weapons, who should take what, should we use the sniper round one, maybe there's a map with longer sightlines coming up, the possibilities are endless. I admit that games like Counter-Strike offer similar stakes, but the fact that losing these weapons in Due Process means they're gone, there is no econ round, you can't work back up to it, it's just gone.
Save the all.
Makes for a much more tactical, high-stakes environment where teams with good plans and preparation actually get rewarded. Also, how cool is it to be standing side by side, locking and loading in the prep room, taking your gear off the wall? So cool.
Take them to go hide out.
Oh my god,
by the
hostile.
entrance,
There's
yeah,
void.
for sure.
What
My iPad's going to run out of batteries any second now. We're against the clock. We're big time against the clock. Alright, great. So it's got some nuanced tactical mechanics. Big deal. Let's talk about the game already. We get it, Slorg. You're old. You like lines. Relax. Relax. The gameplay is refreshingly basic. It's a blast from the past. It's something that I love. There is no leaning. There is no sliding. There is no vaulting. There isn't even a prone button. There's certainly none of whatever they're doing in the new Call of Duty. You can sprint, you can crouch, you can jump, and you can shoot. And that's basically it. And it feels really good. I personally have felt, and maybe this is a whole video in itself, that movement in FPS gaming has become ridiculous. I'm a big fan of older games like Battlefield 2, Battlefield 2142, even Bad Company 2, and as the devs have suggested, the old SWAT games, where frankly the limitations of the technology at the time meant vaulting and sliding and jiggle peeking were just not technologically possible. I miss those times because it made games just a little bit slower paced, just a little bit more reliant on tactical positioning and prioritizing use of cover and smart movement over simply overwhelming the enemy with sheer speed and head-clicking ferocity. I know, skill issue, blah blah blah, I'm sorry man, but any chance of tactical gameplay in a game where you move at the speed of sound, can vault any obstacle, and slide bunny hop dolphin dive with no counterplay is a surefire way to make a bland, mediocre first-person shooter, absence of depth or replayability, and I will die on that hill. And to that end, when Delta Force calls itself a tactical shooter and other generic games try and pretend that because you can revive a teammate that it's a tactical experience, I laugh. And my laugh turns to tears. And then I weep for the loss of the true tactical shooter. I've missed it for so long, I was starting to think that maybe I was the problem. It's not gaming that's getting worse, it must be me. I'm out of touch. I don't know what's good anymore. Wrong. Due Process has given me hope. It's reminded me that good times can exist. They're just harder to find, as they have to fight tooth and nail to be heard over the endless stream of garbage, pushing them further and further down.
Mad Santa, dude.
Uh-oh. Oh, what was I talking about? Due Process is a game that completely passed me by when it first came out. I knew very little about it before making this video, so I asked the devs for a history of the project and their plans for the future, and they have delivered. This is an edited version of the words of Due Process dev Tetra. The project began as two guys out of video game school deciding to turn their project into a full-blown game. That game, now Due Process, was built up and eventually published by Annapurna. Unfortunately, the game slowly lost players and the team started leaving bit by bit and eventually all but disappeared entirely. Until a new voluntary team who had worked on the game previously arose from the shadows, asked politely to take control of development, and then dropped the hottest update ever to be added and a bunch of cool stuff, and fixed a lot of issues the community had with the game. As for the future, it's hopefully bright. The devs plan to go back to weekly updates with map rotations and balance changes and bug fixes, with plans for a potential second major update down the line. The project is currently made up of volunteers doing it for the love of the game. But damn, does it feel like these volunteers know what they're doing. Now, while a entirely voluntary team doesn't always feel future-proof, I happen to know that games like Project Reality, which I also love, have been diligently supported by entirely voluntary teams for literally generations. And Due Process has the added benefit of appealing to more than a niche 140-plus-year-old Northerners. As far as I'm concerned, Due Process is a masterpiece. It's incredible fun, it's endlessly replayable, the vibe is impeccable, I'm genuinely blown away, not just Jack Frags blown away. Yeah, it's early access. Sure, it's perhaps not as crisp or as realistic as an old SWAT game, it's definitely a different feel. The hit reg sometimes feels a bit jank, but brother, 76p? Come on. I'd pay double. Look, you're gonna tell me I'm a paid actor. I'm not. The game is f***ing sick, and I don't care what you say, no one can tell me otherwise. It's just come out with a big update, it's got a few players right now. If you load up on PvP, you are gonna find some games. And I really hope this project actually gains some traction and they keep supporting it, because this really is a tactical shooter and has honestly reminded me of a world that has felt, until now, almost completely lost. So developer Giant Enemy Crab, I salute you. And well done for being the proud owners of the only tactical shooter not made on Unreal Engine 5 award. I can confirm there was no stuttering. The game didn't crash once. I didn't need DLSS or frame gen, and I actually had real frames. Revolutionary.
Oh.
You died a hero's death. Hey, Will.
Yo.
Open up.
Ah!
Where's that file? I asked for an hour ago.
I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ. You call this a bank? I'm gonna bring the sniper rifle. I'm gonna breach the fan, pinpoint accurately snipe the guy, do my part, finish the mission. Go home to my cyber wife.
I've been thinking.
The violence is causing him to have illusions.
Illusions.
I don't know what the fuck I'm trying to say.
Illusions.
Delusions, there we go.
Illusions.
He's seeing magic tricks. It haunts his nightmares.
Mars, you ready to push with me?
Yeah, once this drops.
He's buying time with fire. Push again. You died.
I didn't
all
realise I
died.
would do that much damage.
Damn, look at D-Day on this one. It's crazy. All right, we need to move fast and clear those murder holes.
Anyone got any Bangalores?
You can get back in the van, but you're stuck and you can't get back.
Oh, we can't get in that door.
Our star player is stuck in the van. I'm free. Ah! We're attacking. Look out for the green strobes. Dude, look at that guy. Saturn.
That's so cool.
That guy's cool as
China, like that.
Imagine if your name was just a planet. How wild is that? Uranus.
There's one by me.
Oh, that's a teammate.
Why are you shooting me?
Sorry. I rounded a corner and was like, oh, fuck!
There's someone in the vents that only we can get into. Kill him.
Oh, fuck!
It's an AA gun here.
Yeah, they got fucking 88s.
Yeah. What kind of attack were they expecting? There's a roof on this place. They're like, fuck, they've procedurally generated our AA guns inside the building. Ah. This is why you can never trust base defense to an AI.
Oh, it's very dark in server room. Oh, I didn't even see where the button is.
Don't do that, please. I've got barbed wire in this corridor.
So
I'm
you
gonna
caught
use
me.
this.
You caught me in the act.
We should just keep this deployment. A stagnant jump.
The kneeless jump. He just wills himself into the air. We are unfortunately called clandestine jaguars and not our true name. It's Slorg the Sacklickers with another win. The ball munchers.
This
Clutch
is a
it
man
up.
who knows his place.
Wait, I just can you let me back in? I just wanted to see my face before we go.
Oh, incredible stuff.